The Royal Enfield Bear 650, everyone. Welcome to our first impressions ride review of this awesome motorcycle. Now today on our ride review we're going to be doing a deep dive into the specs of this bike and compare that to the overall or real world riding experience. Does this bike match up to the specs, or does it exceed the specs, or does it leave a little bit to be desired? Well, that's what we're going to find out today, and it's all thanks to Fraser's Motorcycles. They very kindly have loaned this bike out to me. If you live in the Gloucester area or surrounding counties here in the UK, definitely go and check them out if you're looking to buy any new or used motorcycles. They've got plenty of stock available, a huge showroom, and plenty of demos just like this one available for you to test ride right now. So if you could check them out, I'd really appreciate it, and when you do, don't forget to say hello from me. Alright, so let's have a look here at the bike in terms of the way it looks. Very, very retro. It's an air-cooled or oil-cooled 650cc parallel twin. Quite a bare motorcycle, if you like. Not a lot really happening. Not a lot of features, but at its core, I think there's something special about this bike. And even though this is the 650 parallel twin they've been using on a lot of their bikes now, apparently this one is geared slightly differently to the other bikes on the roster. I don't know, we're going to find out how that feels. But yeah, in terms of looks, if you are a retro bike rider, wow, I think you're going to like the look of this bike. It's not just the way it looks though, in terms of the overall shape. The colours that they've used, this kind of like cream white here, and this like, I don't know what you call that, but yeah, kind of like an olive green, I guess. It really does scream 1960s, if you ask me. But yeah, overall, a pretty good-looking motorcycle, at least if you are into the retro stuff. Now, let's be honest here, there aren't many manufacturers that can pull off this retro look like Royal Enfield. I mean, if I told you guys that this bike rolled off the showroom floor in 1965, you probably wouldn't bat an eyelid, would you? The colours are right, the look is right, the engine is right. All of this is very classic, I suppose. And you know, the more I look at this bike, the more I appreciate the finer details. Like, you've got the Royal Enfield logo on the grips, you've got it embossed here on the leather seat. It's just a nice looking bike, don't you think? I'm not usually into retro bikes, but I understand why people appreciate this kind of look. And I've just noticed here a little USB socket. There you go, a little Type-C USB socket there to charge your phone. That's a nice little feature that I didn't notice before. But alright everyone, let's go ahead and have a little listen to the soundtrack of this bike. All stock, has been warmed up. I've been riding it for about 20 minutes or so. But yeah, let's have a little listen. Let's turn you up a little bit. Alright, here we go. Tell you what, it doesn't sound too bad, does it? Parallel twin 650? I mean, it does have that distinctive sound, I suppose, of a parallel twin, but yeah, I like the sound. Yeah, not too bad, and a few little pops and bangs there as well. Yeah, very nice sounding bike. Yeah, this isn't my usual spot for shooting intros on the ride reviews, but where I normally do it, it's quite busy, quite a lot going on there today, so yeah, I had to find somewhere else last minute. But even so, you guys, this bike is nice and chill, to be honest with you. There's not really all that much to say about it, apart from the fact that it's quite a vanilla riding experience, I think, is probably the best way to describe it. It's got a nice pickup for an air-cooled parallel twin. Yeah, it's got a nice pickup indeed. Alright, let's go ahead and talk some ergonomics here, you guys, because this is a different riding experience or riding position to what I'm used to. Yes, it's a cruiser riding position, but the handlebars here are quite wide, actually. It's quite a wide grip, and also where your feet sit, they feel a little bit wider to the other bikes that I usually ride, kind of like the Japanese stuff. Yeah, this does feel different in the cockpit, but not in a bad way. It's quite comfortable. The seat is very squishy, very nice. The handlebars are easy to reach. I mean, I'm 5'11", 6 foot on a good day, or depending on what time I decide to measure myself. If it's early in the morning, then yeah, I reach 6 foot easier, or maybe if I'm wearing a pair of shoes. But yeah, I'm just under 6 foot, and yeah, the reach to the handlebars is not very far away, although it does feel like there's a slight lean forward, ever so slight, not anything crazy, not like it's, I don't know, gonna make your hands ache or anything like that. Most of the weight is on your butt, and your back is nice and upright. Your knees are, well, my knees here are maybe just past 90 degrees, so yeah, fairly neutral riding position. Like I said, you guys, it's very familiar. It's all very familiar to me, the way how this bike feels to ride. There's just a few little nuances that are a little bit different here and there. Alright, but let's talk some specs. So this is the 2025 Royal Enfield Bear 650. It's running a 648cc parallel twin-cylinder engine, which is producing 47 horsepower at the crank, or it might be like 46.5 horsepower at the crank, and 57 Newton meters of torque. That's such a nice, juicy torque number right there, and it's all weighing in 216 kilograms wet. But yeah, not a heavy bike at all, quite nimble. It's a little bit heavy for its class, you know, a parallel twin 650, they're generally under 200 kilograms wet, but it doesn't impact the overall nimbleness of the bike, I don't think. It feels hefty, but it doesn't feel hefty to ride, if that makes sense at all. Alright, so we're going to do our patent pending 0 to 60 runs here. I think this is going to be quite slow, unfortunately, despite the fact that it is producing quite a lot of torque and a decent amount of horsepower. It does carry the horsepower through up to about 7,000 RPM. The limit is a hard limit of about 7,250 RPM, something like that. But I think we're probably going to do this within 4 to 5 seconds, so it's going to be quite a slow 0 to 60, maybe even pushing into 6 seconds. Let's have a gander. Let's see what happens here. Here we go. Oh, alright. Got to get all the way up into third gear to get it up to 60 mile an hour. Just going to pull over here before we do another one. Let this person behind us go past. But yeah, quite a slow 0 to 60, to be honest with you. But remember, you guys, this is a cruiser bike. It's not meant to be the fastest bike in the world. Oh, there's another car coming up behind us. Quite busy today, this road. Usually it's quite quiet. Let's see if we can get in another 2 runs. Here we go. Ah, there we go. Yeah, you need quite a lot of runway on this bike, I'm not going to lie. Getting up to 60 mile an hour. Let's try one more. Alright, here we go. There we go. Just about managed to make it before the bend. Yeah, it's not a quick bike, even for A2 standards. This is an A2 compliant motorcycle, and even though you're getting a lovely amount of torque, I mean, you can just about pick up the front wheel, so it does have some torque to it, but yeah, the gearing lets it down a little bit, and the limited RPM lets it down a little bit. I mean, the Japanese A2 bikes, they're redlining at 10,000 RPM, 11, 12,000 RPM. So, but I guess, you know, if you want a big displacement bike and you want an A2 one, then, well, this isn't a bad shout. It does little buddy hops. This bike, it's got enough torque for a little bit of some buddy hops. So yeah, not the best hooligan bike in the world. Bikes like an MT-07 or Ninja 650 spring to mind a little bit if you want a more hooligan-like riding experience. But that's the thing, you guys, this isn't designed to be like that. This is designed to be a much more chilled out riding experience with a little bit of performance behind it for those sticky situations where you've got to do get off the line quickly, or maybe you've got to do a quick overtake or something like that. It's got enough power to do those everyday things, and to be honest with you, this is quite a nice suburban urban rider. It's got knobbly tyres on it as well, which kind of indicate that maybe this bike's got a little bit of off-road capability. I don't know, but this is a fairly new bike from Royal Enfield. 2025, it's got 525 miles on the odometer. So quite a few people have been riding this bike. I think Fraser said they've only had it for about a week, maybe 2 weeks. So yeah, not a lot of time and quite a lot of mileage on the bike. I don't know, maybe it's been loaned out for some promotion event or something like that. But right, let's pull over here and let's have a look at the dashboard. It's quite a kitted out dashboard, to be honest with you. It's got two different kind of styles here, but one really cool thing is that if I can just figure out how to... Oh, you've got to hit up like that. So it's got like a little joystick here, so you hit up to bring up the settings. But yeah, let's... if we do appearance, so you push it in just like an analog stick on a PlayStation. Background, is it? No, that's a dark mode. But yeah, it's quite cool how you can set it to a dark theme. That's pretty nice. Or you can set it to auto, where during the day it's got the bright white screen. Let's hit the back button is here behind. Let's look at screen type, because there's some pretty cool stuff in here. So we've got digital. Nice little animation there. Now, Luke at the dealership mentioned as well that here in the top bit you can actually set it to display Android Auto, so like maps and things, which is awesome, which I guess is why you've got that little USB connector on the side there. But yeah, we'll leave it like that for now in the digital mode. What else have we got in here? Not a lot else. I don't know what golden line is. Oh, it's just this thing here. There you go. Yeah, so you can set it to the time, the outside temperature, the trip, or the odometer. Pretty neat. Yeah, quite a comprehensive bike, you know, in terms of the screen here. Trip preference, analog content, digital content, my vehicle, trip 1, trip 2, fuel gauge, battery, service due, system, clock, speed, distance, temperature, factory reset. What else have we got in here? You know, I actually find it a little bit easier to use my fingers like this to adjust it. But yeah, it's quite a neat display, to be honest, and quite comprehensive. Considering this is a retro style bike, it's actually got quite a nifty techie display. You really have got to pull on the handlebars. But yeah, so you can see how this display here has got nothing in the middle, and that's purely for Android Auto, so you can connect up your phone. I'll probably change it back in a moment here, but that's a really neat feature that more manufacturers need to do. Right, you've got these full color TFT displays. It doesn't matter how small the displays are, there's usually enough room, even if it is just to display some maps or something like that, Google Maps, Apple Maps, whatever you fancy, whatever you like. But yeah, because most of these dashboards you can connect up to your phone, So it makes sense to enable Android Auto features on a lot of these bikes. Yeah, I don't know, you get so many, especially the Japanese brands, where they, for some reason, they don't like using Android Auto or whatever for their displays. I don't know, maybe that's changing now. Maybe that's coming through a little bit more now. But yeah, quite a neat feature for 2025, and for me, it's well past due. Oh, it's such a shame, man. If it had just a little bit more RPM to play with. Oh, that'd be so nice. Vince 360 hanging in there. Oh. So 5th gear, middle RPMs. Yeah, not a lot going on in terms of power output, but yeah, it is what it is, you guys. It's an A2 compliant 650 parallel twin. I mean, when you look at what the MT-07 is able to do, or the Z650 is able to do, I mean, they're also basically 650 parallel twins, or even the Aprilia Tuono or RS660. They're far more capable than this bike is, but I think this bike is being clearly designed with A2 in mind. Whereas the Ninja 650, the MT-07, the RS660, they're not really catered for that audience. It's more of a full license holders entry bike, whereas this is kind of like top end of middle license. So yeah, A2, it's kind of like as much as you can get from an A2 bike. But yeah, like I said, when you've got bikes like the Ninja 650, or excuse me, the Ninja 500, the Z500 from Kawasaki, you've got the R3, the MT-03 from Yamaha, you know, bikes like that, these other A2 bikes from Japan, despite the fact that they have a lot less displacement than this bike does, they actually have better overall performance because that higher end RPMs, because it's geared slightly better. They are a little bit quicker off the line, quicker top speed. I mean, I don't know what the top speed of this bike would be, but it's probably, what, just over 100 mile an hour maybe, if that. So yeah, in terms of performance, you guys, there are other bikes that are better than this in terms of performance. Remember, this is an air-cooled or oil-cooled engine, so it's not going to have the biggest performance numbers in the world. But to be fair, that juicy torque off the line, that's really nice. It's a really nice amount of torque. It's really funny because the way how this engine looks, I initially thought it was a V-twin because it's quite bulbous. That's quite a good way to describe this bike as a whole, to be honest. Quite a bulbous motorcycle. But yeah, no, it's definitely a parallel twin. But yeah, and it's chain driven as well. So quite a chilled out riding experience, you guys. There's not a lot of frills, really. You've got that torque, a little bit of horsepower, but that's about it. You don't really get much else. You get this nice TFT dash as well, but everything else is very classic Royal Enfield, even down to the dials here. I mean, how long have Royal Enfield been using dials like these, or controls like these? I couldn't even tell you. What, since the 70s or 60s they've been using these types of controls? My wife and I, we went to the Harry Potter studios in London a few weeks ago, and the motorcycle that Hagrid rides is an old Royal Enfield as well. I can't remember, is it like a Himalayan or something? I don't know, I can't remember. I'm not all that familiar with my Royal Enfield, so you have to bear with me today, you guys. But it had the same controls, which is hilarious. Yeah, same controls here. I mean, I didn't really go through the controls, but yeah, you've got your full beam here and here. You've got your indicators, you've got your horn. Very cute horn. You've got your menu, your dashboard controls here. Like I said earlier, you've got your back button or your home button at the back here, and your index finger. You've got adjustable clutch and front brake levers. Yeah, you've got your on switch, and you've got your hazards here. as well. So again, yeah, quite rudimentary. Got cable clutch, which is nice. Hydraulic brakes, non-adjustable suspension, but they are inverted forks, which is nice as well. Yeah, for what an A2 bike rider needs, you guys, it pretty much has got everything. It just would have been nice if it had a little bit more top-end RPMs. I mean, it goes up to 9,000. It would have been nice if it could top out at about 8,000 RPMs. That would have been ideal, I think. But yeah, for what an A2 bike rider needs, pretty good. Could this bike be a full license holder's daily rider? That might be a video that we'll have to shoot a little bit later on, I think, because that'll be an interesting little thought experiment, I think. Like, would I daily ride this bike? I don't know. I need to form my thoughts a bit more on that one, I think, before I present to you my findings. But all in all, you guys, quite a neat bike, to be honest. I mean, I mentioned it right at the start. It's quite vanilla, and that's pretty much what it is. It's a nice looking bike if you're into that retro look, if you're into this kind of engine, you know. But apart from that, you've got the lovely TFT display, and that's about it. Another feature, funnily enough, another bike which I think could do quite well with a quick shifter is actually this one, because that's one great way to get around the shorter gearing and the lower RPM limit, is to have a quick shifter. If these bikes had quick shifters, they make the 0-60s, I think, significantly quicker, maybe by half a second. It wouldn't necessarily improve much in terms of the torque or the overall performance of the bike, but those 0-60s would be ever so slightly quicker, a little bit better. But then again, I mean, are there any A2 bikes that have got quick shifters? I don't think there are, to be honest. But when the Japanese brands have got more RPM to play with and slightly longer gearing than this, they don't really suffer from the same issues that this bike does in terms of performance. So yeah, even though the 0-60 is quite slow on this bike, it feels fast. It feels quicker than it actually is. And that's probably a better thing, you know, for an A2 rider. It's probably better that the bike feels faster than it actually is. Like, you are having to hold on to the handlebars, you guys, alright? When you jack on the throttle 100%, you do feel that throwback into your seat experience. I mean, just before we sign off here, let's see if I can get... I just want to get a bit more than a bunny hop out of this thing. I mean, I don't know if... because it hasn't got the RPMs really to do a clutch up. A little baby wheelie. Little baby clutch up wheelie. Yeah, okay. Alright, if you're better at wheelies than I am, then yeah, this might be not half bad for you guys. But alright, there's one thing that we haven't spoken about yet, and that is price. Now, whilst I go ahead and put this bike back to the way it looks, the original screen type, unlock. Thank you very much. Perfect. Yeah, we haven't spoken about price, because as much as this bike is pretty good, pretty, you know, for an A2 rider, it's perfect. There's a lot going for this bike, especially if you're into this retro look. But price-wise, you're going to be paying between £6,000 and £7,000, which is quite a lot for an A2 bike. I think most of them are going for between 4 and 5, maybe 5 to 6. So this is in the upper end when it comes to the pricing here. But to be honest with you, it's not that far off really from other A2 bikes, but you will have to stretch a little bit more to buy one of these over something like a Ninja 650 or an R3, something like that. Yamaha, they really need to update that platform. It's been so long and everyone else has moved on. But yeah, you've got the CBR 500R as well from Honda. So if you want something that's more performance oriented, those are the bikes that you need to look at. This, I think, is for an older rider. This suits an older rider much better than a younger one, in my opinion. And to be fair, maybe that makes sense. The price point, older riders typically will have a little bit more cash to play with when it comes to buying a motorcycle. We didn't do a sound check at the end there, but yeah, we all know what the bike sounds like, don't we? It's not too bad. Again, very vanilla. It's got that kind of scrambler, cafe racer kind of a look about it. Really neat, you guys. I mean, if you're looking at one of these to buy, you can't really go wrong if you like this retro style look. But thank you ever so much for joining us on our ride review of the Royal Enfield Bear 650. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please go ahead, leave that like, hit that subscribe button down there and that notification bell so you don't miss any more videos on this motorcycle. I will be shooting a couple more videos on this motorcycle today to make the most of it, but thanks again to Freezers for letting me have a go on this bike for you guys. Let me show it off to you. Definitely go and check them out. I'd really appreciate it. They'd really appreciate it. But thanks again, everyone. You take care. You ride safe. We'll catch you all in the next video. Have a good one.